Welcome back, I'm Keldek, and this is the channel where we find out just how far you can get in gacha games without opening your wallet. I have some pretty significant updates for today. I have progressed my account to level 25. You also might notice that I changed my character name. I will get into that in a moment. Some of the content that I cleared, I'm working my way through the hard campaign, trying to 3-star it as I go. I'm about a little more than halfway through. We're working on that. We got Arcane Keep up to level 8. Magic Keep up to level 9. Minotaur's Labyrinth up to level 8. Ice Golem's Peak up to level 8. Spider's Den, have not touched that yet. Haven't touched this event dungeon yet. And we got Dragon's Lair up to level 8. I've also made some pretty significant improvements with my roster here. I've got Kale to 5-star, almost level 50, and 5-star ascended. I'm still working on Yugo. This is going to take a while. I did use a new promo code today, Welcome Gift, and I got Bellower for free. This champion will definitely make farming campaign easier when I get to that point. I did go ahead and level him up to level 40, which was probably a mistake because I'm not going to really need him for a while. He's good to have on the account for sure, but I probably should have waited before dumping resources into leveling him, as well as the other new epic that I got yesterday from the download link that I used to get Tholin Foulbeard. Tagore here, I'm not really focusing too much on building him. But when I'm, working on content and stuff like that, I'll throw him in the team and level him up. I did probably dump a couple potions into him. I don't really recall. One thing that I figured out after I started this account is that there are apparently at least 2 different download links that you can use that'll give you completely different champions. The download link that I initially used, of course, gave me Tholin Foulbeard, Yugo, and Tagore. What I did not know is that there's another download link that will give you Mavara. Now, in terms of early account progression, Tholin has been great. I don't know how he's going to carry the account, later on into the game as I progress further. But as of right now, he's been great. He's been pretty much my sole carry throughout the campaign and the dungeons, being a top damage dealer alongside of Pelops with some support options and, some pretty decent DPS as well. But I didn't want to go into this completely ruining my account progress in the future. And by ruining, I mean just making it more difficult than it needs to be. I doubt with either of these 2 champions on the roster, my actual account in the future or down the road would, really be ruined. But at the same time, it's like, are these the 2 best heroes for me? So with that being said, I created a second account. Now, I do know that I said 1 account, no rerolls, and that's not what this is. This is a second account strictly for kind of comparing the 2 free heroes that you get to start with. So on this account, I got Mavara the Web Diviner, who is a pretty strong support champion. Her A1 strike on my mark places a fervor buff on 2 turns on a random ally except for this champion. If the random ally selected is already under a fervor buff, this places it on another random ally. Allies under a fervor buff have a 50% chance of joining the attacks of other allies under a fervor buff. So it sounds like it, as you progress in a battle, if this buff can get spread to multiple champions, you might have an ally attack. I don't really know how good it's going to be until I get to some more difficult content where I can actually kind of see that in effect, and I can also kind of start to balance my gear and the speed of champions and things like that. But I'm not really sure how good this passive effect is. But what's really good is her A2, which places a 25% strengthen buff and a 50% increased resistance buff on all allies for 2 turns, and also equalizes the HP levels of all allies. So this is a really strong one, and it's good for survivability. And then the A3 revives an ally with 50% HP and 50% turn meter, then places a perfect veil buff on all allies except for this champion for 2 turns. Also places an unkillable buff on this champion for 2 turns. These buffs will be placed even if no allies were revived. So this is definitely a strong option here with a revive and 50% turn meter and HP recovery. The Perfect Veil will help in quite a bit of content as well as the Unkillable. And the Equalized HP is essentially kind of like a free heal depending on how your heroes are built. So far in watching, the different battles and stuff like that, I do see that this helps a lot, especially in campaign. And then, of course, the Ascension Level 3 skill. For every 8 buffs the enemy team receives, increases the turn meters of all allies by 20%. And then again, for every 16 buffs this champions and their allies receive, heals all allies for 20% of their max HP. So as we go on and progress further and get this champion leveled up, her kit will become even more useful. And then, of course, there's a 28% speed increase aura for Arena. Now, you notice I did go ahead and throw the one legendary skill book I had into her. And then, once again, I still used the Pelops promo code. Along with Mavara, you get Creodan the Blue as well as Venom Mage as 2 other free champions. One thing that I wanted to do between these 2 accounts, because I'm not choosing between either of them at this time, I'm going to play both accounts for a minimum of 30 days, and then from there I'm going to decide to either A, keep playing both of them, or B, drop one account and use the other as a main account. Now, that being said, I'm also going to apply 2 different play styles between both accounts. So on this Mavara account, I'm going to pull shards as I get them. Of course, I'll try to save them at least to do them on video. I don't want to just pull random shards in the very slight chance that I get something good. And I don't want to pull those off of video and then not have the footage for that. So I will at least try to save them for when I'm recording. But otherwise, I'm going to kind of play this account as a YOLO. You only live once. I'm not going to worry about saving shards and all this, that, and the other. I'm going to play as a very impulsive, pull every shard every time I get one kind of play style. And then on the Tholin account, I'm going to play in a more calculated and reserved way. I'll save my shards for different events that I feel might be beneficial to me, things like that. So you'll get back and forth, at least for the next 30 days, you'll get 2 completely different play styles. A lot of it's going to end up looking the same because this early on, there's only so much you can really do in the game. But as I progress, we'll see where we land with the shard pulls and things like that. Maybe I get lucky, maybe I don't. Maybe I burn this account into the ground with this kind of play style. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see. So far, the comparison between the 2 accounts has been pretty straightforward. I mean, the Tholin account has definitely been faster at clearing lower level content. On this Mavara account, I'm really relying on Kale to be my primary damage dealer, whereas on the Tholin account, I use Tholin himself as a primary DPS and don't really have much support. Yeah, I do have Yugo, who is great, by the way. Don't get me wrong. But I don't have like a legendary support, I guess I should say, like I do on this account with Mavara. So the play styles kind of are different. Just, because of that, I have to plan accordingly, figure out how to manage enough DPS output while also having pretty good support this early on, things like that. And we'll learn more as I go further on both of these accounts. But while I'm in here, I might as well go ahead and pull my Void Shards. Now, I do have a progressive chance, a very slim chance of getting, I can't see her kit. They won't let me. Okay. I do have a very slim chance of getting Marichka. If I had pulled Marichka, this account would be off to an extremely good start because I don't know how good she is today, but back when I played 2 years ago, she was a very good support champion. I don't want to say one of the best, but she's a damn good support champion. So we'll go ahead and pull this and see if we actually get lucky, which I highly doubt. First pull is a rare. Skirmisher. Okay, nothing on that one. And our last shard is another rare. Drowned Bloat Wraith. So those were 2 wasted shards, but that's what you get on a YOLO. Now, obviously, mystery shards don't really count when it comes to the whole YOLO playstyle because you really don't ever get anything good from them. Yeah, you have an off chance of getting a rare, stuff like that. But when I'm talking about YOLOing shards, it's ancients, voids, primals, and sacreds. So that's a play style we're going to do going forward with this account. I already worked it up to level 22. This account name is Mavara. I'm working on my, working on getting through my missions and things like that. I'm going to try to keep both accounts as equal as possible as far as progression goes. But obviously, one account might pull slightly ahead of the other depending on the day and how much time I have to actually play both accounts, so on and so forth. So we will see how things go. When it comes to the market on both accounts, I will buy all uncommon and mystery shards that pop up. Eventually, over time, I believe, unless they change something, I believe you still get a couple of ancient shards that'll pop up in the market over the course of a month. I forget exactly how many you get, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And then, of course, with this account, I've completed the normal campaign, all 3 stars. So I got that. That was one of the voids that I got. I have not yet started campaign hard mode on this account yet. It just is what it is. Another thing, both of my accounts are in the same clan, so any kind of bonuses I get in regards to that are going to be exactly the same between both accounts, so on and so forth. And then that's pretty much it. So I'm going to go back and forth between these accounts. I'll record as much footage as I can to create the videos, documenting my progress along the way. But I just wanted to put this quick video out to update and kind of explain the process of how I'm going to move forward with these accounts and see where we go from there. And in the next video, we are going to tackle the clan boss for the first time. I do know that this clan that I'm in at least takes down easy, so hopefully I can get the maximum amount of damage, 1.15 million, to get the warrior chest for the best rewards. But we'll see how that goes. It looks like they're also more or less kind of taking down normal. So maybe I'll throw a key there. I do still have to build the team and things like that, but that'll be for tomorrow. I know I have it unlocked now, but I'm just not ready to dive into that yet because it's going to take me a while to figure out what kind of team I'm going to use. As of right now, I do know that there are resources out there like Deadwood Jedi's website, the Clan Boss Calculator, assuming his website's still online. I don't even know. I do know that there's also a standalone Windows app I can download. I forget the name of it offhand, but I'm not going to really worry about either of those things right now because the average person just starting out today is not going to know about those tools. And I kind of want to emulate that whole process, but while also retaining whatever knowledge and information I recall from the last time I played the game. So I'm not going to try to pretend that I'm a brand new player, and I covered this in my last video. But I am going to try to come into the game with that kind of a lens where I'm playing as a brand new player in 2026. Obviously, I can't forget all of the knowledge that I have about the game. That's a given, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise. But I will play it as a brand new player. So no third-party tools, no Hell Hades website for gear management and team building and all that. No Deadwood Jedi clan boss calculator or anything like that. So on and so forth. I'm just going to play the account by myself with no other tools, at least for the next month. We'll see how things progress once, and maybe that changes once I pick an account if I choose between the two. I don't see myself playing both accounts forever, but if I do end up picking between one of the two accounts and saying this is the account I'm going to roll with into the future, then maybe I'll start looking at using other tools. But until then, I'm just going to play it as a brand new player would who has no idea that these tools exist. And before I end today's video, one other thing that I do want to do is probably pull these Void Shards. I do have, for the next 18 hours, a 2x chance of epic and legendary champions, with Marichka being the selected champion. There's an extremely small chance that I can actually pull her. But, on this account with the 2x, if I do pull her, this would be game-changing for, this Tholin account, because this would give me a much-needed support. Again, I do have Yugo, and don't get me wrong, Yugo's an amazing champion. But, that being said, Marichka's on a whole different level. So if I can somehow magically pull her with these 2 shards, that would be insane. I don't know of a better time to pull these, and I believe that this 2x is some kind of new account thing, as well as this guaranteed champion. And this is kind of a pretty good way for them to sucker you into spending money early on, really. You know, they give you this guaranteed legendary champion in your first 10 pulls, but of course, if we look at the price of these shards, then you start to kind of see how crazy it is. So 30 bucks would get you one shard there, $45 for 3 sacreds there. Let's see, what else are we looking at? And even then, you know, after spending, what, $75, you're still not going to have enough sacred shards to even get him. But, you know, it's a good marketing tactic for them, I guess. Either way, I'm not worried about it. Doesn't matter. We're likely not going to get the Cowardly Lion, and it is what it is. There's a week left, I believe, on this fusion for him. Yeah, 1 week and 2 days. Almost 1 week and 3 days. But let's be real. There's pretty much no chance I'm pulling or otherwise obtaining these 4 Void Epics needed to fuse this champion. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to stress about it. It is what it is. That being said, let's go ahead and pull these shards and see what happens. Wouldn't it be crazy if that was a legendary? That would be insane. So we got Daywalker there, and last one. Of course, we're not going to actually get a legendary. As expected, it is what it is. At least on this one, you know, on the Mavara account, there was no 2x. That's just the kind of YOLO, pull as you go. I'm going to save my Ancients for something. You know, this was, again, it's 2 shards. What are you going to do? At the end of the day, not much. So that's going to wrap it up for today's video. Tomorrow's video, I will cover the clan boss for the first time on both accounts. I do know that I have it unlocked now, but I just really don't have the time to get into it. And it's going to take me a while to build the teams for each of those. I'm going to have to experiment a little bit and try to maximize my damage output for each account and then go from there. If you'd like to follow along with my progression of both of these accounts into the future as a completely free-to-play player in 2026, then please consider commenting, liking, and subscribing. It'd go a long way to helping my channel grow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.